In this lesson, you will learn how to use past simple tense. This is one of the most exciting and important tenses in our series of English verb tenses. Why? Because we use this tense so often to talk about all kinds of things. For example, you can use this tense to tell someone what you did yesterday. You can also use this tense to tell someone what happened in the world 500 years ago. So, whatever you are trying to describe that happened before now, you can use the past simple tense. So, are you with me? Are you ready to learn this tense? Let's get started. So, you see here on screen, I have shown a timeline. Here we see now, and everything before now is in the past. So when we talk about the past simple tense, we are talking about a time that is before now or in the past. But past simple specifically talks about something's happened in the past and it's finished and it's over. Okay? We can talk about an action or an event or situation that started and ended in the past, and that is shown here by these little X's. So now let's look to a little sample of what this tense sounds like when we actually use it with basic verb. I assure you it's so easy. Firstly, past simple form. In the first you will use subject. It can be they, we, you, he, she. If our base verb is work, in the past we just say worked. What did we do? We added ed. So say it after me. I worked, you worked, we worked, they worked, she worked, it worked. That's it. Now let's look at when we use the past simple tense. So we can use it with time expression or without time expression. What do I mean by that? Let's see. Ali called last week. We say last week, that's a time expression. It's a word that tells us about time like yesterday, last month, last year, 5 years ago. These are all time expressions. In sentence Ali called last week, the past tense here is the word called. But you could also use the past tense without time expression. So you can simply say, I cooked dinner. And as soon as I use this word cooked, we know we are talking about the past. Next, we can use the past simple tense to talk about recent past or the distant past. What do I mean by that? The recent past means something happened a short time ago, and the distant past means something happened a long time ago. Let's look to some examples. We visited her yesterday. Yesterday is not very long time ago, so we could use it with the past simple. We could also use the past simple to talk about something that happened long time ago. She lived in London long time ago. Alright, our past verb here is lived. Now let's look at how we form the past symbol. In English, there are two kinds of verb, regular verb or irregular verb. Regular verb or irregular verb. The regular verb are the ones that in the past tense they just have ed or d. They end like that. For example, work becomes worked, clean becomes cleaned, watch becomes watched. Alright. So in all those cases, we see that there is AED. This is the most common ending. Later we will see there are a few other ways that we can do it, but usually we add ED. But in the irregular verb that does not happen, we will not add ED, of course. In the irregular cases, sometimes the verbs change a little bit and sometimes it change completely. Like the verb go, in the past it becomes went, see becomes saw, buy becomes bought. Let's start with the regular verb and I will show you exactly what to do and how to use them in a positive sentence or in a negative sentence or in a question. We will start now with the positive sentences. All what we should do, we take the base form of the verb and just change it to the past. Regular verb here is work. Work becomes worked. So positive sentence will be I worked, you worked, he worked, she worked, it worked. Next, negative sentences. We will say I didn't work. A negative word will be not. So we should add helping verb did. Didn't is contraction of two words. Did not. So you could say we did not work or we didn't work. Next, what happens when we ask a question? We have to use helping verb, then the subject, then the verb. Let's say it's work. So we can say, did I work? Did she work? Did they work? Did he work? So the helping verb will be in the first. Then you will get the subject, I, they, she, he, we. Then in the last, you will write or you will say the verb as a base verb. By the way, did you realize something? In positive, we change the verb with adding ed, but in negative and question, we will not add ed to the verb. We will going to add did as verb to be. So the verb will be remain in the base form. So I will say, I didn't work, and it will be same for the question sentences. Again, we could ask this way, did he work and didn't he work? So this is the entire structure of the past simple for regular verb. Now let's look at the spelling change we need to make when we using the past symbol. I will give you some example when we're going to add ed. Like the verb walk, it will become walked. Cook becomes cooked. We are going to add ed. Some verb, there will be e in the end of the verb. Like bake, the e will be the end of the verb, so we will say baked. We will add only d. Like use, we will add also d. But for some verbs which end by y, we are going to drop y and we will add ied. Like cry, it will become cried. We will drop y and we will add ied. Like study, also we are going to drop y and we will add ied. This is in the case of the verb ends with a, y, consonant before it. Consonant means anything that not a vowel. A vowel is a, e, I, o, u, and consonant anything else. Next, sometimes we will double the last letter, then we add ed like stop, stopped. We will double the p, then plan, planned. We will going to double n because in these words we have vowel letter.